First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while lunch is truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson, the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So the type of day lesson is put not off from day to day. So I'd like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today, let's have a few news articles, but we'll start here first by the one by ABC News. And it reads, it said, New Jersey wildfire explodes to 13,250 acres, could be largest in nearly 20 years. A wildfire in New Jersey exploded to 13,250 acres after igniting Tuesday in Ocean County and threatening more than 1,000 structures, shutting down a major highway and causing thousands of people to flee the flames. Said by Wednesday afternoon, officials said firefighters were gaining the upper hand on the blaze. The Jones Road wildfire was 50% contained as of 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So according to New Jersey Forest Fire Service officials, Sean Latore, New Jersey Commissioner of Environmental Protection, said fire officials expect the blaze to grow and that it could turn out to be the largest wildfire in New Jersey in 20 years. So, see right now, that's why I named the day's lesson, put not off from day to day. Suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come upon you. So the Lord is constantly bringing forth judgment. It's constantly increasing. These plagues are not slacking down every day. Earthquakes, volcanic activity, wildfires, what I'm saying, globally, as we speak every day. It's constantly picking up. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. And one thing about it, we're constantly warning you left and right, constantly putting out these video pistols, constantly warning you where you will hear or whether you will forbear. The Lord is constantly bringing it. This nightmare is about to be over. The Lord is getting ready to bring it to a close and usher in the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. That's why all these things constantly happening every day. A lot of people still are walking in great pride. A lot of people still are not considering, still are in their comfort zone, going on with their daily life. La, 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 and all hell is getting ready to break loose. So now, let's go to this next one here. This one here, this volcano, it's another one I want to get. This volcano here, let's get this one right here. The Poas volcanic eruption over here in Central America, so these things are constantly picking up. We are in the birth pain, but the end is not yet. These things are constantly happening left and right. That's what we're constantly warning you about. It says here, Poas volcano eruption blankets Costa Rica's Central Valley in ash. Let's just get a little bit of this. It's a volcano Poas erupted with significant force today, sending an ash and gas plume soaring over 2,000 meters above its crater, making the most intense eruption of the year, according to the Observatory Volcanologist, Salakia for that, de Costa Rica. It says here, the explosive event described as a foray explosion. It's speaking in Spanish a little bit here. Explosion blanket communities across Costa Rica Central Valley, prompting urgent health and safety measures. So we already knowing that, when you go like Joel chapter 2, I think around verse 1 and 2, say, the Lord is going to come in a day of darkness, a day of gloominess, because, there's going to be a lot of what? Volcanic activity. Also what? A nuclear exchange, a thermonuclear exchange is going to cause all this radioactivity, all this ash and all this debris and radioactivity will be in the sky. So it's already has begun, So one thing about it right here, so a lot of people right now had a lot of health problem, all of a sudden it was going on with their daily life, and all of a sudden the volcano erupted. So the Lord said, suddenly shall these things come upon you, the Lord said he will come like a thief in the night. So a lot of people still are not aware, and one thing about it, we know we at the end of all things, we at the end of an age, the beginning of sorrows, the beginning of mournings, great death and destruction, beginning of persecution. A lot of things are coming upon the famine of the world. The devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. And we constantly warning you left, right. And also the Lord is constantly handing down judgment, but it's going to constantly increase right before his great and glorious return. That's what we're constantly warning you about. So just a little bit of this report. So this happened here in I think just a couple of days. I think it might have happened today or yesterday, but it dated for April the 21st, so it may be 2 days ago. But anyway, it was, this is very close. It's right here every day, something going on. Every day, some type of catastrophe, some type of calamity, just like a domino effect. The Lord is causing these things to happen left and right. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? You know what I'm saying? Shall there be evil in the city? And the Lord has not done it. The Lord is causing these things to happen, whether you will hear or whether you will forbear. So now let's go to this one here. It's another one I want to get here. Just things I'm constantly seeing in the spirit. This one here, this earthquake that happened in Istanbul over there in Turkey. So, global event, earthquakes in diverse places, just like the Lord said. When you go to Matthew chapter 24, the disciples, he sat down with our Lord and Savior, which in fact is Yahweh. I asked him, when will be his second coming? And the Lord told him, gave them a list of things, events that would take place right before his second coming, and our great deliverance. That's what we're constantly longing for each and every day. That's why I named the title of the lesson once again, put not off from day to day. Stop delaying. Stop saying that, I'm going to do it today. I'm do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised to none of us. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, it's no respect to person. And another thing is that, we got to, the Lord say, if it's the Lord's will, Adawan Ratazat, if it's the Lord's will, because the Lord is constantly bringing it. That's why we're constantly praying. That's why we're constantly watching left and right, asking Lord, how long, oh Lord, protect us in times of trouble. So now let's get this one. I'm rambling long enough. This one here is about Newsbreak, AOL. It says, says 6.2 quake among series of tumblers shaking Istanbul streets to homes in Turkey. So, man, right here, man, it says here, Istanbul, it says a strong 6.2 magnitude earthquake was among several quakes that struck near Istanbul, Turkey on Wednesday, rocking homes throughout the city, shaking from the earthquake's center, in the Sea of Marmara. It said was felt across Istanbul and on the Asian side of Turkey near Mundaya and Erkdurk. It said according to the U.S. Geological Survey. So that's enough what we're going to get to this. So earthquakes in diverse places. Every day is earthquakes, tremors everywhere. In California, I have a few relatives that live out there. They tell me all the time that it's all sorts of earthquake activity left and right. So, a lot of people are pretty much living on shaky ground any given time, So when you watch that movie, I think it was 2012. It showed all that devastation. But, just like I said, it's going to be a time that we have never seen before. So we coming upon these times. Things are constantly increasing. The birth pain, the transition of power, it's constantly happening right before our eyes. In the middle, Lord, we constantly warning you left right every day. Volcanic activity, earthquakes and diverse plagues. You know, it's a famine. You know, the love of men is waxing cold and cold. And also the spirit of vengeance is working overtime. The Lord is bringing forth judgment left and right. That's why we constantly want, put not off from day to day. Make no terror to turn to the Lord. Put not off from day to day. We'll get that in a minute. Constantly quoting this. There's another one I want to get right quick. I think it's this sandstorm. So sandstorm it happened in China, a sandstorm in China. Let's get this right here. It's just something I'm constantly seeing through the Spirit. That's why the Lord has set up watchmen, warn them for me. It says here, it says severe sandstorms move across northern China, breaking winds record at 499. Man, I'm telling you, man, this is powerful. It says 499 stations and prompting rare public advisories. So this is what happened in China today. I don't think I want to read into this report. You can come back and look at it, but I got a little a video of it also. But this happened in China. So sandstorm, volcanoes erupting throughout the world, earthquakes constantly happening throughout the world in diverse places. The Lord is visiting the earth, flooding, hailstorm. You name it, the Lord is constantly bringing it left and right. So we are living in the end time, real time, whether you believe it or whether, it really does not matter, because the Lord is putting it right in front of your face. So now let's get a quick precept, and I have some videos to bring it out with a little bit more edification. Let's start here. Let's start with the title of the lesson. Let's go here to Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 5, and we'll start up at verse 7. And it reads, it said, make no tarry to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So one thing about it, a lot of people are putting off. A lot of people are shaking and faking. A lot of people are playing games. A lot of people are in the house of mirth, going on with their daily life, very prideful, very arrogant. A lot of people, are self-willed, despisers of the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. And one thing about it, constantly, they're laying, constantly, that the Lord is not coming, Just like this wicked devil from Sakari said, it might be 1,000 years, he said 1,000 years. And and the Lord brought forth that wrath upon his ass. He's been exposed on every level. So one thing about it, it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. The Lord can open up the ground on you where you at. If the Lord wants you, he can get you at any given time. That's why the Lord said, I kill, I wound, I make alive. I do all these things. Not the so-called white man, which in fact, he is just a man, the base man. One thing about it, a slave. And one thing about it, he's nothing to the Lord. The Lord is calling these things to happen left and right. The Lord is in perfect control, and he's visiting the earth that he created. And the Lord is causing these things to happen left and right. Prophecies are speaking. Let's read this once again. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 5 and verse 7 said, make no tarry to turn to the Lord. Do not delay. Put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth. So one thing about it is what's happening left and right. The wrath of the Lord is coming forth. Earthquakes over in Turkey. People all of a sudden, they was afraid. People was going on every day with their life. The busybody, is going to work. Going out, just having a great old time in the house of mirth. Not aware these things can come upon you at any given time. Your life is in danger. If you're not seeking the Lord, you are seeking death. And it says here, it says, in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Verse 8, set not thy heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. So one thing about it, no matter what you're trying to do or what you're trying to accomplish or whatever you think you have, it's not going to help you in the time of trouble. If the Lord is not on your side, if you're not part of the elect, you're going to die. We constantly warn you left and right. It's only one side or the other. Either you're on the Lord's side or you of this world, and you will be totally destroyed. And one thing about it, is the Lord make it plain every day. So now let's go here to today's video, and after the videos, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
Today in New Jersey, firefighters are still working to contain a wildfire that has already scorched more than 11,000 acres. Some evacuation orders have been lifted after thousands were forced to flee.
There was a high level of concern, Chris, when you're talking about 1,300 structures that were threatened, some 5,000 residents between two different townships that had to be evacuated basically between the afternoon on Tuesday and the late evening. The good news right now, you mentioned the 11,500 acres. That is a large number for New Jersey. The containment, though, is at 30%. What officials have told us is they do not expect the flames to continue expanding toward populations, but rather moving west, away from where all the homes are. And this is truly incredible. Not one single family home damaged, not one person injured. The only structure that suffered damage from all this was a garage and awning business. But other than that, thousands of homes okay. Here is the commissioner of the EPA here in New Jersey talking about the miraculous set of circumstances that could have led to that outcome. Take a listen.
Thanks to the incredible, heroic work of the good men and women of our New Jersey Forest Fire Service, folks' homes and lives have been saved, and we've truly averted a major disaster. This could very well end up being the largest wildfire in New Jersey in 20 years.
Last year at this time, according to those same officials, New Jersey had about 300 or so, 310 wildfires. So far this year, same time, it's more than 600. And this could very well end up being the largest wildfire in New Jersey in the last 2 decades.
Another warning shot, y'all. An earthquake just hit Turkey, Istanbul. Another major earthquake. A 6.2 earthquake just hit one of the biggest cities. And it wasn't just no little tremors, as y'all can see on this video above my head. Look at that shit. This shit crazy, fool. Why we keep having all these major earthquakes? I mean, I know. I just want to see if y'all know. Leave it down below in the comments. I feel like the message is loud and clear at this point. Earth is definitely earthing. This just gotta remind y'all that this shit can happen at any time, any place. You always gotta be ready, prepared. 180 people are confirmed injured, but not by falling buildings. It's because they were running in the streets like they was scared as hell. I would have been doing the same shit. They said people was jumping on balconies, jumping over balconies, jumping over people, just running for their lives. They said one building did fall in a historic faith district, but no one was injured. As of right now, I'm hearing this latest earthquake got the scientists scared because it didn't just shake the city. It added stress to the fault lines beneath the Sea of Marmara. And this is the same one that experts say can lead to the big one. Every time I hear people talk about the big one, I think of the movie 2012 when you seen the earth crust was just breaking and shit. So if you live near any fault line, this is your wake-up call. You see all these earthquakes happening. It's gonna happen without warning too. Y'all stay safe out there. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this situation.
Sandstorm in China. Oh my God. Right now, they're walking around with face rug masks to cover their nose and to cover their mouth from that. It just seems like everywhere there's hell and apocalyptic signs. It's all judgment. All judgment is happening in all these places. People are taking it for granted, taking it as for a joke, like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is happening? It's obvious to see what's happening. So many countries is going through hell in the year of 2025. So many people lost their lives, thousands, hundreds in the year of 2025. Earthquakes, tornadoes, diseases, which are plagues. People just apocalyptic shit. It's not a coincidence. It's already been predicted.
So now let's start today's lesson. Let's go to the second Ezra chapter 16. We'll start here. So we know that 2025 is very prophetic, and these plagues are not slacking down for a moment. That's why we constantly tell you, put not off from day to day, because right now the Lord is constantly bringing it, and it's going to constantly increase. We constantly warn you left and right. Is nothing going back the same. We go over these things left and right, even though it sound like a broken record, but we don't give a damn, because we know that we are here. We're very excited. How long, oh Lord? 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse, let's start straight to the point here. Let's go here. Let's start at 17. It says, 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. It said, woe is me, woe is me, woe mean destruction. So who will deliver me in those days? Are we coming upon these times? We are here. It is at the door. It's not near. We're living in the end time, real time. A lot of people are still have a strong delusion. A lot of people right now is waking up to a rude awakening. That's why a lot of people right now are beginning to see, why is this happening? Why is that happening? It's very obvious and clear that the end is being manifest right before our eyes. The end is here. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, and the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So one thing about it, we're at the beginning of what? A great sorrow. We're at the beginning of great mournings, beginning of what? Famine, plagues. You know what I'm saying? Great death and mourning, wars. You know what I'm saying? But the beginning of World War III. The second war is past, but the third war come quickly. All sorts of things is happening. Nation divided against nation, rising against one another. Things are happening. A dark, perilous time. The devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. And also we know that Jacob's trouble's at the door. The hour of temptation. A lot of things are coming. Watch, pray, and be sober. One thing about it, man, we're here. Redeem the time wisely. Verse 19. Behold, famine, plagues, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So one thing about it, you got to amend your way. Examine yourself. See, that you're, are walking accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, a lot of our people right now are not watching, not aware, don't know who they are, don't know who their true power is, and don't know what time that we're living in. They're in for a rude awakening. In thy security, the wrath of the Lord shall come upon you. A lot of people constantly putting out, tearing, delaying, happy-go-lucky, hey, and the list go on and on. Verse 20 said, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So, hey, one thing about these scourges constantly happening. Left and right scourges goes into what? Plagues. They're not mindful of them. A lot of people seeing it, you know what I'm saying, and don't see, keep just, hey, it's going to be all right. Everything will be all fine. One thing about it, you getting ready to F around and find out. So we're here, man. People not turning away. They love what? Wickedness. They love all sorts of abomination. This place is wicked. This place is out of course. And the Lord's getting ready to set that righteous order back upon this earth. We cannot wait. Verse 21 says, behold, victuals shall be good and cheap upon the earth, and they shall think themselves to be in good case. So, and even then shall evil grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. That's exactly what we're seeing. A lot of people right now, You know, everything is good. You're eating good right now. You still have a bank account, still have shelter, a house. Your family's still together. Everything pretty much seems to be okay right now. You know, everything, you have like a sense of normalcy. One thing about it, Lord, you shall think yourself a good case. That's where the Lord is going to come. Like in the days of Noah, they thought they was a good case until the flood came, and the Lord destroyed them all. Like the fire is getting ready to come. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are getting ready to be put into this lake of fire, the second death, which in fact, what is the lake of fire? America, Babylon the Great. We'll constantly warn you, things about to get real. One thing about it, you thinking that you're a good case, but one thing about it, you're in for a rude awakening, and these evils are growing left and right. The sword, that sword goes in all sorts of of evils, also judgment, famine, you know what I'm saying? You know, food shortage, you know what I'm saying? All sorts pestilence and plague, sickness and disease, and great confusion, order out of chaos. We seeing it left and right, calamities and catastrophe, it's uproars of the people, uprising, sedition, civil unrest, civil war, a lot of things are coming. Verse 22 said, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish because of the famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So one thing about it, we coming upon that time, a time of trouble that we've never seen before, Jacob trouble. A lot of people going to starve to death. A lot of people going to be eaten. Cannibalism is coming back. It's a lot of things that happen. A lot of people going to betray one another. Things are coming at a fast pace. And one thing about a lot of people don't have faith. They don't have works. And they're going to line up for the slaughter. And one thing about it, they're going to take it under the skin. And you're going to be totally destroyed. We're constantly warning you left and right. It's time to trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Put not off from day to day, because we're all running out of time. So now, let's go here to, one moment. Let's go here to Luke. Let's go here to Luke chapter 21. Let's go ahead to Luke chapter 21. We'll go straight to the point. Then we'll get one more. Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21. And this is random scriptures. And 34. Let's start here. Luke chapter 21. Let's start. Let's see where I want to start up at. Let's start at 32. Luke chapter 21 and verse 32 said, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Said heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. So this heaven and earth is talking about this rulership, you know what I'm saying? This earth age is getting ready to pass away, this is the generation. Let's highlight that. And one thing about it, that's what we constantly seeing. We're at the end of the age. We're at the end of all things as we know it. You know what I'm saying? But we know that the earth abides forever. This age is getting ready to end. The Lord is getting ready to usher in a new age. And one thing about it, all shall be fulfilled. What he's talking about, these prophecies, as it is written, it shall come to pass. So, prophetic events are happening. You know what I'm saying? Revelation chapter 13 is here, is right at the door. They're getting ready to set up this system. A lot of things are coming. Put not off from day to day, because one thing about it, a lot of people going to get caught up in this evil net. So let's read it once again. Luke chapter 21 and verse 32 said, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. That's what we're constantly seeing. All things, what is fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? At the end, it shall speak and not lie. Verse 33, heaven and earth shall pass away. It's talking about, this heaven to this rulership. You know what I'm saying? Heaven and hell is it's conditioned. So this heaven, this rulership, which in fact is under Esau, Edom, these heathens, you know what I'm saying? The times of the Gentiles are almost fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? It said, and earth shall pass away. This earth age is getting ready to pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And one thing about the Lord's word is faithful and true. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, they shall stand forever. You know what I'm saying? When we're going into the kingdom of heaven, you know what I'm saying? It dwells in righteousness. And one thing about it is what we're constantly seeing left and right. The Lord is constantly, you know what I'm saying, bringing forth this righteousness like we've never seen. We're seeing that the truth is constantly being declared. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it that was so long without fruit, it's being declared. Also, we're seeing that corruption is being overcome. It's overturned. Salakia. And we're seeing right now, faith is what is flourishing. Salakia. But man, I'm so very excited. Verse 34 says, and take heed to yourself, lest at any time your heart or your mind be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. And so that the day come upon you unaware. So a lot of people, caught up with the busybody of this world, going on with their daily lives, constantly doing all sorts of different things, not aware, constantly, thinking about things that's it's pretty much is of no value. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, in the wisdom of this world is foolishness to Yahweh about Shemai. No matter what you're doing, if you're not seeking the Lord, you are seeking death once again. And one thing about it, a lot of our people aren't aware, not watching. And one thing about it, because the Lord has blinded them. The election has attained it, and the rest was blinded. Verse 35 said, for as a snare or a trap shall it come upon all them that dwell upon the face of the whole earth. So it's going to be a global event, the hour of temptation. But the Lord said, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, because you have kept the patience, the suffering, went through these levels of adversity. The Lord is constantly purging us left and right into that fine gold. He said, in that day, they shall know who is his elect. We coming upon this time, man. We are very excited. Verse 36 said, watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man, Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. And one thing about it, that how can we stand before the Son of Man? What hold fast in what we have, constantly enduring. The Lord said the same thing, endure, the same shall be saved. Watching, praying, trusting, keeping the faith, enduring. One thing about it, we will get to the finish line. Let's read this once again. Luke chapter 21 and verse 36 said, watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass. We're seeing it right now. And to stand before the Son of Man, because the Lord is fastly approaching. The Lord said, I will come like a thief in the night. You got to be watching. You got to be praying without ceasing. Constantly hastening his great and glorious return. So now let's go to our last and final scripture. Let's get this one here. The Lord is constantly bringing forth that judgment. We're seeing all these videos left and right. The Lord's calling these things to happen. All sorts calamities and events happen on a global scale, and they're going to constantly pick up a time of trouble that we've never seen before. Even though we sound like a broken record, but these are the times that we're living in. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3. We close out here. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5. We close out here. And it reads, said, the just Lord in the midst of the Salakia. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning do as he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So one thing about it, the just Lord is constantly bringing forth that judgment each and every day. It's constantly picking up. So we are upon judgment. That's why you're seeing these things happening. Costa Rica, that volcanic judgment, earthquake in Turkey, that is judgment. Also, in New Jersey, fire, judgment. The Lord is calling these things to happen left and right. And also the Lord said, first my judgment will start at the house of Israel. It's time to seek the Lord, because one thing about it, we're seeing that the Lord is constantly bringing it to a close. The door of repentance is closing. In the middle of the Lord, we're constantly warning you left and right. The Lord faileth not. And one thing about it, we knowing that the unjust knows no shame. The one that's unaware, the one that don't know who they are, constantly, love the oppression. Constantly love wickedness and hate the good. And one thing about it, but the Lord is getting ready to judge this place. And one thing about it is set that righteous order back upon this earth. And once again, the kingdom of heaven is fast approaching. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is put not off from day to day. So I like to say, all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash, Kwam Yasharallah, and Shalom. Shalom.